Okay, so let me show you this really weird quirk. I don't know if that affects all the versions of AutoHotkey, but if you want to create a directory, it has to be on the dir create, right? Okay, so dir create is a function that does, this is in V2, by the way. In V1, I don't think you have that. This creates a folder if it doesn't exist, and it adds any subfolders or parent folders if they don't exist as well. So I will say a desktop here, and I'm going to have a path. So on the desktop, let's go to the desktop. I want to create a directory called test and a space here. Right. So this, I want to create a folder. Well, let's do it like this, folder 1, and then let's have folder 2, folder 3, right? Now notice that there is a space right here, okay? Right before the slash. If you try to do that, let me add a message box here. You will get an error. And it says that the system cannot find the path specified. It's a weird error. I did get folder 1 though. Now, what else? I did get folder 2 as well, but I didn't get folder 3. See that? All right. So very interesting stuff. Fine, exit. What happens if I have the spacing anywhere else? You run it, everything is just fine. Folder 1, folder 2, folder 3. So, and that's the thing. The person I was talking to told me, oh, you cannot have spaces in names. And I'm like, that's not true, because I can put spaces anywhere I want in those names, and you run it and it will be a success. It doesn't matter what you do, because the spaces are allowed in names for a long time now. What seems to be a problem is a space right before the backslash. Because look at this. If you put it after the backslash like this, right? After it, it also works fine. Not a problem. It doesn't matter if I put it in the middle of the word, somewhere in there. The only thing that matters is if you put that space right in front of that backslash. Interestingly, if you change it to a forward slash, you get the exact same problem. This is also a problem, right? So a space right before any of the slashes, it's a problem. A space anywhere else is not a problem.
Is it the same in V1?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So if you put a space right after the slash, does that mean the folder 3 has a space before it?
It does. Yes, it does. It has a space right in front of it. Look.
I cannot see. Can you F2?
Oh, sorry. Yes. There is a space right there. Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yes. So spaces are not trimmed automatically by the system.
So
you have a space right there.
So basically no trailing spaces is what you're
saying. Well, that's funny. I wouldn't say that though, because a trailing space by definition is the last space at the end of the string.
Yeah, that's fine.
We are in the middle of the string here. We're not in a trailing space right now. This is a trailing space. This one is just a space. The problem is, for some reason, I don't know if it is their create.
I think it's treating those slashes as, oh, I see a slash. I got to do something with this slash because that slash means something. I bet you, because you can't have slashes in folder name, in a name, right? I don't know. I never tried it. I don't think it's an illegal
You
character.
can. Well, no, you cannot have a slash inside a folder name. No.
That's what
because
I'm
that
saying.
would be
The
two
system-
different folders. Yes.
Right. The system is seeing the slash as a built-in function.
It is. Yes.
So it's not, so that's why I think it's happening.
Well,
Because it's not,
almost
the
there.
space is not
we're,
encased.
we're close. The one thing here is I don't know if this is a bug from the dir create function. So the dir create function can have a bug that if you have a space followed by a slash, it creates a problem.
I think we cannot create a folder with the trailing space. Can you try it?
Of
I
course
think
I
it will-
can.
When
will
it
get-
manually, you can manually do it?
Yeah, yeah,
I think it
manually.
goes away
So-
afterwards. I've done it, and I
Of
think it
course
goes
you
away.
can. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, again, the problem is not the space. So I go here at 5 spaces and I hit enter, no problem.
Wait, no, go back. The
Can you-
space is still there.
No, they're
no.
gone. They're
They're
gone.
gone. It takes them off.
Okay. So the Windows system,
Yeah.
so that means there is a thing that the Windows system does not allow you to have trailing spaces. So they get trimmed.
Folder name, yeah.
Okay. So that means whenever we are creating something, we have to account for that.
Right.
Okay, so what it is doing, it is creating folder 1 and then it is creating folder 2. But
And it trims it.
creating a folder 3, the folder 2 is got trimmed and we cannot find the folder with the space and we have that error.
That's exactly what's going on. But notice that that is not an AutoHotkey error. It is not a problem with your script. That is something that the operating system doesn't allow you to do it. Let me try something. Allow me just 1 minute. I will try something on the command line.
No, but that makes a lot of sense as far as to why it breaks. It's just not a good error that's reporting it back over.
Right. But let's try the same thing in the command line, and actually probably in power shell. But let's see, because we have a make dir command. All right. So here I can say make dir, and then I would say folder 1 / folder 2. Let me see if that works first. Huh. I have to make it like this. Huh. Let's see, what is it complaining about?
I don't know if you
Yeah.
can you do multiple at one time?
That's a great question. I don't know.
I've never done
Uh,
How about
Slash.
it's backslash instead of slash?
yeah, backslash, yeah. So there it says, I need, the drive is optional, the path is correct. So I can just simply say any intermediate directories in the path if needed. So, oh, they have to be backslashes instead of /. All right, so let's do this. Is this, but like this. That created 2 folders, I would assume. If I say dir here, I should have folder 1 here, right? That is in C uses Raptor X. So let's go to C users so I can delete those later. Wait, stuff. Where is my folder?
Oh, they are kind of a weird location.
Oh, no, because I'm in the wrong, no, sorry. I'm in the wrong spot.
Okay.
Here. Here we go. So here's my folder. Here's my folder 2. That worked. Okay. So now let's do same a space / folder 3. That worked.
It worked, but I think
Let's
it
see.
cannot
Let's see.
create the folder
Oh,
3.
the third one is not created.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a Windows problem. Well, not a problem. It's as
Restriction. Yeah.
was pointed out, internally,
Procedure.
Windows trims those automatically. And as they're trimmed, the next one cannot be created because there is no folder named folder 2 with the space at the end. That
Yeah,
doesn't
so-
exist any longer.
It's deleting everything after the space if it's there or not. It's basically-
Exactly. So in my case, I would probably, I don't like the fact that dir create does not account for that.
Right.
or at least warns you, hey, you cannot have spaces like that in there, right? It just throws the error. It's okay. I guess it's not AutoHotkey's fault, is the point. AutoHotkey cannot do anything about it. It's something that the operating system don't allow it to do. So it is up to you as a programmer to know that. And then whenever you're creating paths, then each of the sections, you have to trim them first so that you do not end up with trailing spaces, which now we are talking about trailing spaces in the context of each individual folder, right? So now if I have folder 2 with a space at the end, yeah, that's a trailing space. So if you have control about creating the path, if you're going to use the dir create command, and actually, Irfan, that's exactly the problem. You are using the dir create for some client folders, and you're using the first and last name, but it seems to be that you're not trimming the last name. So what happens is that you end up with first name, and then last, and then a space at the end. And because of that, especially when you want to create another folder after that, which is, I think, a date in there, what is happening is that then we're getting a failure, and it is weird to describe it as a trailing space in this context because it is in the middle of the string, but it is definitely a trailing space in the context of the last name. That's
A
what
trailing
happened.
folder space.
Yes.
So what I did, I trimmed the client name.
You see, that could happen. Right. So that's what happens. That's what has been described. But again, I do not agree with the concept of you cannot use spaces in folder names, which is what was presented to me. They were saying, no, you cannot do spaces in a folder name. I'm like,
Sure you can. Go.
You just can't be the last space.
That's the
Because
hold my
it's really not
beer.
there.
Yeah. Hour 2. Right. Yeah, that's a very interesting issue, which obviously that has it in V1 and whatever, because it's not AutoHotkey's issue. That's Windows restrictions and what you can do. And this is where it's good. When you think about it even though Isaias was showing you either from DOS or from AutoHotkey, you can create multiple directories at one time. We all, because we're programmers, understand the fact that in Windows, it's actually creating them individually, right? Like it does them sequentially. So, and it's trimming it right when they create it, right? And that's why we give it to it. It seems to work, but it doesn't, because that last path, it's looking at your full string, and it's not valid.
Could that not be fixed? Could he?
Well, and that's where when you understand Lexicos, he that's something he'd be like, that's not my responsibility, right? Like that's not something AutoHotkey should be doing. The developer should be taking care of that in the way that they want to do it.
I think we can use a regex to.
Oh, sure.
I sent a regex in the chat specifically for that when I was talking to them. But here, just for anybody wondering, but to Joe's point, I will still tell him, right? I will just make sure to tell him, but I am not expecting him to say, oh, sure, let me just go ahead and fix that. Like, I don't think he will do that. Folder 3 space. So what I would say is you would use a regular expression. Whoops. And it is a simple one. Well, in my mind, it's simple. Once you look at it, you let me know if it is simple or not. All right. So you're going to grab a string. Usually you're going to have it in a variable at some point. You're going to have your path in some sort of variable. And that variable, you're going to pass it to regular expression replace. And what you're looking for is a space followed by a backslash or a forward slash. And the reason why you see that I'm typing it twice is because I'm escaping it. So this one escapes that one, and this one escapes the other one.
Yeah.
If you find yourself with this, and I would capture the one here, I will capture either the backslash or the forward slash because I don't know which one of the two is it. So I want to capture it, but I don't want to capture the space. I want to leave the space out, and then I will replace it with itself right there. So I would replace it with that.
Don't you want a plus after the S? Which one or more
Yeah,
spaces?
sure, because I don't know how many spaces there are. That's right. But I don't want to capture the space within my capture group. I just want to know which one of the two you chose. So at this point, I will replace it with itself. It removes the spaces. When you do this, let's message box that up. You will see that first slash will not have that. Go ahead.
I just love how Isaias looks at this and says, "Oh, this is an easy regex." Like,
Yeah, this is an easy regex. If some
for the ones that we have seen online, like holy crap.
It's just funny. With
Yeah,
all the
it's really funny.
and remembering what, like that's
right.
cool looking code.
And that's the thing. You know what? The reason why it's easy for me is because I know what the parentheses do.
Right.
They capture. I know what these brackets do. They're telling this or that. And I know what these backslashes are doing too.
Well, but you missed the statement to say, I know inside these brackets, I need to escape certain characters and not other, right? Like that's
exactly.
That's
the other part, right? So, but in any case, as you can see, it is a short regular expression. That's for sure. Not easy, but short. That's for sure. And what it's supposed to do in this case, you will see that we have a space and a backslash here, and we have a space and a forward slash here. It will basically fix both at the same time. So if you can see here, the first last doesn't have the space, and the folder 3 at the end doesn't have.
Cool.
Okay, and now I was thinking about putting a plus sign after that bracket, because I was thinking if there is a double slash in address, so we put a variable and which is empty and which gave us.
Well, the reason why I wouldn't worry about that is because this is an invalid path. You cannot have to.
Apparently, so is the other one, Isaias.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. The other one is as well, right?
So, if we're going to the step, this is where I would agree with Irfan. We're going to the step to say we're going to clean up crap that should work, like
should not be there, right?
So
now, at that point, now you're starting off a clean path function that takes a path, and now you're gonna do a few steps to clean that over and over, right?
And honestly, like I know this is a path. We're talking about folders, not the file names, but this could fit in well with when you have a given, file name. Sometimes we've done that, right? Where people are manually entering the file names, we clean them up, right? But it's we're all
exactly. So at that point, now you're thinking about a clean path function in which you have a few things that you're going to clean one after the other. I wouldn't mix them up. I do agree. I would have a plus here if you have many. Okay, great. But if you want to clean something else, don't do all in the same regular expression because it's going to get messy and very complicated. Just create different steps. Okay, so now I removed the spaces and the backslashes. Now I'm going to remove the ampersands and replace them with underscores. Or actually, I would say anything that is not I would do not a normal word character, which is it allows you to have numbers, letters A, B, Z in lowercase and uppercase, but nothing else. Anything else that is not that should be replaced to an underscore, right?
I think this will also remove all the
spaces. I need the spaces. I need to allow. So I want to allow. Let me see. What I don't want to allow. Oh, shit. Hold on. Let me see how I would do it. I want any word, any space. I allow periods. I allow dashes. Those are the things that you can put in a name. Well, those, if it is not that, then go ahead and replace them. That's what I'm doing with this back.
You're dealing with the pod, not the name.
Right, but I don't want the spaces to be replaced. In this string, in this whole string, I do want to capture an ampersand and make it an underscore like this. because
Okay.
I don't know how the ampersand is going to mess with other paths, right?
Okay.
But I do want
you-
to keep the word, any word character, numbers, digits.
Forward
alphabet.
slash and backslash we need.
Yeah. Well, no. Oh, well, yes, you're right, because I need to keep these guys up. So this guy, that
Double.
guy, right? And so on. And you would go in steps. Do not make the mistake of having all of that in one big regular expression. Because later on, when you try to fix one of the issues, you're going to break another thing. So you just do each step independently, each of the cleaning steps, and in the end, then you return the cleaned string, right? So hopefully that makes sense. It is a very interesting thing that happened.
Can we try that? What the result?
Sorry,
Try it.
can I try it? Oh, yeah,
No.
sure.
No.
So I would say, hey, clean that string, message that. No, because it is this string. Sorry. Yeah, look at you see this ampersand got replaced there, and the slashes that had spaces in front of them were removed. So that's a quick way for me to go ahead and fix, so to speak, paths for very common stuff. And if I have another thing that I want to fix, then I just create another step for it. And then I just created a function that cleans my string. That's it. Hopefully that helps. Is one of those weird things that you just, you're working on one thing and then you spend 2 hours trying to figure out what the problem is with this other thing, you know?